Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rosie's Community Boards. This is our Saturday night edition. This show is for you, so get ready. I posted the link if you want to come on, and let's get started here. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday night. And welcome to an edition of the Community Boards. So I hope that we have some people watching tonight that want to ask questions. There's all kinds of things that you can do on your community boards. This is actually your show to do with what you want to do. This is our fifth week. I have something that I'll talk about a little bit later. There's so many things that you can do here. And for those of you that want to get ready to come on, you can sell. If you want to come on and sell a few pieces with me, you can do that. You can sell up to 3 pieces. Just make sure you have the price that you want and where you're shipping from. You can sell something. That's fine. If you have a piece of Fenton that you want to ID, you can definitely do that too. Just show us the piece of it. If you're not sure it's Fenton, maybe we can help you out and let you know if it is. So you can do that. Or if you're looking for a part or a piece and you want to just come on and show us what you're looking for, that is fine. Virtually anything goes here tonight. So if you have something in your collection you'd like to show off, maybe a find that you got this weekend at a flea market or garage sale, feel free to do that. Here is the link. If you need it, and all you have to do is click that link, make sure you have good lighting and your camera is positioned horizontally and it is stable. And then I'll have you come right in with me if you'd like. And if you'd like to ask a question, you can ask a question. Anything, this show is for you. Saturday nights is left for the community board. So just ask away if you have a question about anything. We'll talk about some stuff that's going on. You can see the screen, the little ticker at the bottom of the screen. You can see we're advertising for Marietta. That's coming up. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's just a little over a month away. If you'd like some information about Marietta, feel free to email me. There is my email address. If you'd like some information about Marietta, we did the show with George a couple days ago, and we got such a good response. We've had a lot of people contact me about going to Marietta, and it's going to be a great time. So I hope you can make it. There's the email. If you want more information, I'll send you a packet out. Hello there. Hello, CK. So it's going to be a little strange calendar here for the next few days. Tomorrow night, we're having a new show. It's called Vintage Vixens, and it is me, Jill Coyle, and Eileen Thomas. And we are coming on at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and we are selling vintage and kitschy Christmas, or kitchen Christmas. And so we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. We're going to have jadeite, Pyrex. We have swanky swigs. There's all kinds of stuff. It's all kitchen related, mostly mid-century. Some is a little bit older. I'll post some pictures of what I'm bringing on. But it's going to be a fun time with Jill and Eileen. It'll be the first time that you've met Eileen, but she'll be on here with us tomorrow. So if you want to come on, there is the link. Here is the link. I've posted it in comments. Hello, Blackberry. If you need to, if you need to get it any way else, you can PM John or you can PM me, and I will send it to you so that you can come on. I'd love to have some guests if anybody's out there tonight. I realize it's a beautiful day today. We might not get too many people in here. But if you'd like to come on, you can. If you'd like to ask a question in chat, you can. And then, okay, so we're going to do the Vintage Vixens tomorrow night, Sunday. We're doing something very different Monday morning. For the 10 at 10 Monday morning, we are having a boutique sale. It's going to be a shorter version of the boutique sale. but we're going to have the boutique sale because it's going to be so hot next week. And Monday morning, it's going to be cool. So we have the high-end boutique store that we bought out. We got pieces from that. I have a One World order that just came in. So we'll have One World clothing. We'll have perfume, a lot of Brighton stuff. That'll be Monday morning at the 10 at 10. Okay. Okay. Boy, oh boy, you guys are quiet today. You guys are quiet today. Hi, Blackberry. How are you today? So we got a lot of new subscribers in the last few days. We have gotten over 125 new subscribers, and I want to welcome anybody who is watching tonight. This is kind of our classifieds. It's a new thing that we started 5 weeks ago, and we bring guests on if they want to come on. And it's just this show is for you. This show is for you. So if you have a question, you can ask. Mary Hogue says, I missed what is on Monday. Monday, we're having a special boutique sale at 10 at 10. And so it's going to be really good. I'm going to be by myself. So it's not going to be as fast and furious as the afternoon sales, but we don't have that pace in the morning. We will have Brighton jewelry. I have Brighton perfume. We have all kinds of designer bracelets. This is a high-end store, and we're going to sell everything at least 80% off. One World tops are $12, and QVC stuff is anywhere from $7 to $8. It's going to be great. All right, so I hope you can come, Blackberry. You will enjoy it. You don't get the grandkids Monday. Yes. Well, the reason we're doing it Monday is because we're having another heat wave next week. And Sunday night is going to be a low of 52. So I figured if I got out there early, we could have a couple hours of sales. So I may start a little early, and we'll see how that goes. All right. So if you want to be a guest, again, all you have to do is come in. There's the link. What will happen when you see that link come up, you'll be put into a green room, and no one will see you. No one will see you but me. You can adjust your camera, and if you want to give me a thumbs up, then you can come on screen. Do not be shy. It's nothing to be shy about. Or you can ask in comments. We can do that too. But I would love to see what people have been getting out there, maybe at a flea market today, maybe at an antique store, or whatever you want to do. If you have a piece you're not sure it's Fenton, you can always ask me. Okay, so Deborah V's out there. She says, hi, everyone. I would like to find a couple of stands for Fenton butterflies. Oh, yes. I know which one you're talking about, in the amphora stand. Yeah, I thought we might have one around here. I know what you're talking about. So Deborah is looking for the butterfly stands. You know, the little tiny butterflies that have the little brass stand. Those are hard to find because those get separated. But if you have one, contact Deborah or contact me, and I'll get you in touch with Deborah, because she is definitely looking for them. Or the amphora vase. That's the one with the pheasant that has the little skinny stand. The vase can't stand up without the stand. So Deborah's in need of that. All right. I'll show you what I need tonight. I have two pieces. We're also going to read about, we're going to read something very interesting from 208 coming up here in just a few minutes. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I need. So this is topaz. Oh my gosh, I can't see it. This is topaz, and you're not going to be able to see it. This is the topaz butterfly bottom of a fairy lamp, and I need the top. And it's green enough, it's not going to show, but you know what it is. It's the lily of the valley. I'm looking for that. Let me see if I put black behind it. There you go. All right, we have some questions about Marietta. Okay, Diane, I saw that. Do I have to be a member? No. There's actually 3 groups, and we're the 3rd group that comes to town for the convention. And no, you do not have to. You're a member right here. You're a member of the Rosie family just by showing up tonight. So no, you do not have to be a member. And all you have to do is come to the Lafayette Hotel. We have the Mississippi room that we have rented on the main floor. There's also big spacious lobbies to gather, and the rooms will be open depending on what time of the day you're there. If we don't have where we're going someplace else. But we're going to try to keep the Mississippi room open most of the time. If you need to have a schedule or you need anything, information, you can always PM me or email me, and I will go ahead and get that to you. I can send you a package of information via email. We would love to have you, Diana. How far away do you live? And I think somebody was interested in coming with you, weren't they? If I remember right. But no, you don't have to have any membership to be involved with ours. If you want to rent a room at the Lafayette, you can do that. You can sell with us. There's no charge. If you're local and you need to rent a spot, we may end up expanding from the Mississippi room if we have enough local people who want to come and set up a table and not rent rooms. So if you want to do that, let me know and we'll make a decision as it gets closer. Okay. Did I answer your question, Diane? Do you have any other questions that you might want to ask about Marietta? Okay. Feel free. Now is the time. This is your forum. All right. Again, if you want to come in, I'm going to post the link one more time. It's on all the sites. There is the link. If you want to sell a piece with me, you can sell up to 3 pieces. If you have a piece of glass you want ID'd, you can do that. If you're looking for parts and pieces, you can come on and show us the piece you're looking for. Or, if you want to educate us on something or inform us on something, we'd love to have you come in too. It's your show. So any other questions about Marietta or anything else going on in the Fenton world or anything? Okay. Okay, Sean says he's looking for something. You're looking for a bottom to your moon and stars, red only, for the largest candy dish. Sorry, I'll be prepared next week and come on camera to show you. Okay, we'd love to see you, Sean. If anybody has the bottom, please let me know. So he's looking for the bottom to his moon and stars red candy dish. Okay, that is awesome. If you have that for Sean, you can PM me or you can leave a message in comments below. The right party. Just leave a comment below after the sale or during the sale. We can do it that way. Okay. We're going to go ahead and talk. I did a little reading this week, and it's an interesting article, and I kind of would like to go over some of it with you. You're welcome. Okay. Oh, my signal strength does not look good right now. From Cincinnati. Okay. So now I'm only guessing because Columbus, I think it's about 200 miles from Columbus, and you're lower. I would say you're probably 200 miles from Marietta, Ohio. Velma says, hi, are you going to have a get-together before you go to Marietta? I had wanted to do a get-together in Marshall. The time is flying so fast. So I will consider something if we have a nice weekend. I should have done one today. I can't believe it. It's true what they say. The older you get, the faster time goes. It's just crazy right now. It just is. Hi, Nancy. So is my picture okay? I'm showing a weak signal again. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So today we're going to read from, I've been going through some old, I guess they're newsletters from some of the groups, the Fenton groups back in, this one's from 208. It's fuzzy. Yeah, I don't know why it's fuzzy. That's why I'm in here, because I usually have a better signal. It's a little blurry, but okay, we'll work with it. That's weird because it's showing really low signal. All right. We'll see if it straightens itself out. Okay. So anyway, this is from 2008, which, what was 2008? Maybe 14, 15 years ago. And it's kind of interesting what happened here. And this kind of, I'm going to read it a little bit for you. This particular newsletter had Scott Fenton in the middle of it. And Scott Fenton, they actually did a kind of like a transcript of what he talked about during one of the conventions. And this was a time when Fenton was really, really struggling. And I think it was interesting to read what was going on at that time. So this was the fall of 2008. Okay. So it said it was just over a year ago that George Fenton held an announcement that the factory would close due to financial difficulties and the 100-year-old tradition of Fenton glass would cease. At that time, the company announced it would take orders for only 3 weeks, and then it would wind down as it filled the orders. But then something happened. The orders poured in, and the factory kept turning out glass. And at some point, recovery seemed to be possible. So this would have been 2007 when they all got together and decided it was time to call it quits at Fenton. They had struggled long enough. And so they said, we're going to put together 3 more orders, 3 more weeks of orders, and then we'll wind down. Well, something that they did not expect happened. And the orders were filled, and we'll read about what happened. They didn't close right away because they were bombarded with business. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of paraphrase from this article. This is Scott, and he actually was talking at the convention, and they have all the notes, but we don't need to go through all of it. But it's kind of interesting. He said after they announced that they were closing, they were actually producing more than 4 times the product in Williamstown as they ever were. And the customer base reached over 8,000 store-wide. So this is before they started having difficulties. They had Cracker Barrel, Martha Stewart, and QVC as their headline accounts. So they were just doing bang busters, especially in the late 90s. And it was crazy how much Fenton they were actually selling at Cracker Barrel and QVC especially. It said that, and this is hard for me to believe too, that their employment reached nearly 740 employees shortly after Scott graduated from college in 1997. That's crazy to me. 740 employees. Maybe that was when Cracker Barrel started carrying Fenton. Yes. And they did really well with it. So it says it was very hard to describe the events on August 9th. I just returned home from a gift show in Chicago. The numbers weren't adding up. We had slipped. No, we had fallen off a cliff. I can remember showing our family and staff all the things we had changed in the field in 2006 and early 2007 to try to spark sales. For anyone who managed more than 1,000 people, you can appreciate how difficult it is to have more monthly changes than need to be executed in the field. So the business just plummeted. And he said it just didn't slow. It fell off a cliff. They couldn't understand why all of a sudden it just wasn't selling. I think 740 were their heyday. I don't know how many they actually started with, Nancy, but it couldn't have been that many. I mean, it was in the early 1900s. He says, we literally started adding and changing our plans every month because sales were falling so fast. And he says he believed it was because of the way the customer changed over the years. People have simply changed the way they shop, which in turn caused the store to change the way they buy. And he blames the internet, Walmart, and Target with part of the problems. And it all happened all of a sudden. And there just was no market for Fenton anymore. He says the reps that we called on in these stores were fighting for every dollar in sales, and the stores were asking for every discount and buying incentives that they could pull out of you. All our decreasing margins made it impossible to stay in business. and they just were really struggling. It said that they had gone to the bank on numerous occasions over the past number of years, and they weren't loaning them any money anymore. And the bank said to George, "You're worth more to us dead than alive." Isn't that awesome? I mean, think about that. That's not awesome, but think about that. They told George Fenton, "You're worth more to us dead than alive," because they had been continually asking for loans. They weren't going to be given any more loans. So anyway, it says there were tears and gas. The mood was quite indescribable as George, very to the point, honest, and he expressed that they were planning on closing. They were still searching for ways of survival, but they had to wind down. So as we said in the beginning, he said he's going to take orders for 3 weeks, and if all went well, they would complete the wind down and they would be done in October. The state, at that meeting, they divided the employees into stay and non-stay groups, and they put them in different rooms. And the ones that were in the non-stay group, actually, they were at the end of their career with Fenton's. It was over with. So anyway, that's what was going on then. So they let half of their salaried staff go that day. And so they were trying to figure out ways to make money in those last 3 weeks. So Mike Fenton compiled a list of every item in the company that could be sold and appraised them. And Jim Measle, you see, he is the author on a lot of Fenton books. He wrote a lot of Fenton books. Jim Measle is the one that started to catalog all the pieces that they could possibly come up with to auction to save the company, or at least pay some of their debtors. And yeah, Blackberry says Walmart caused so many businesses to close. Heck, it destroyed entire small towns. It certainly did. And times were tough back then. That was the recession. So anyway, they did all this. And then they started having the auctions and selling stuff like that. The reps went back out and said, "We're going to fill orders for 3 more weeks." Well, that started the process of people thinking Fenton is no longer going to be in business. And so the orders started to come in. It says that simply is the sales literally poured in from August 9th through the fall months. My phone was impossible to keep up with. It rang and rang. Internet sales more than quadrupled. Millions in sales came from our dealers in just a few short weeks. Customers like Lennox, PCH, loaded up with products to last them well into 2008. And of course, QVC blew through their final inventories. So their sales just skyrocketed when they said they were going to close. And he says the bank was happier, not super happy, but happier. There was a great deal of uncertainty during those months. We were all uneasy, but there was something inside me that said we would make it, that it wasn't going to be over. So this is Scott that is saying that. The rarity of Fenton is, yes, right. The author of the book was Jim Measle, and he's the one that compiled all the items for the auctions that they did to try to raise money. So anyway, there were actually business people that were saying they might have a restructuring plan. So they completely changed their way of thinking into, we're not going to close now. We're going to try to come out of this and see if we can give it a go again. Okay. So anyway, it's interesting how the process continued from here. Now they were faced with the decision. We know this is going to be a short time thing. We've got some cash now that we can work with. We need to do something to change, to try to, stay in the market here. We got a second chance. So they began to do, put Fenton USA on their products. They started to, the single largest change for Fenton was the Fenton USA. It's the fact that they were no longer printing a catalog. We do not have a steady offering of everyday products. Everything from then on was totally made to order. So there was no making product ahead of time at this point. they decided they would do away with the beautiful picture catalogs that they'd always used. Everything was going to be in the internet, and they were not going to make anything ahead of time. And that's how they were going to try to come out of this.
Hey, Heidi,
Yes.
are you on the right internet?
Let me see.
Doesn't look like it.
Yes, I am.
Your feed's not very good.
I
You've
know.
got tremendous internet.
All right. So let's see where I was.
In fact, I can't even watch it.
It's really bad?
Yeah, ask everybody.
Am I still blurry, guys?
Yeah, you're super blurry and our internet's super fast.
I don't know. I'm hooked up to the LTE.
Yeah, but I mean, is there some reason? I mean, you need to go out, come back in.
Let me go out and come back in. Hang tight. Hang tight. It shouldn't be that way. So you stay there. I'll be right back. It's awful. Wow. All right. This should be better. I don't know why it did that. Our internet is the fastest he says he's ever seen. So this should be better. All right. So anyway, back to our saga. So it's better. Okay. So just to reiterate, they said they were going to close. Word got around that they were going to close. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon buying Fenton, and they couldn't even keep up with the phone calls from August to fall. It was just crazy. So, and the largest change, they had to have a plan because they knew this was temporary, and if they were in it for the long haul, they were going to have to do something to change the way they were doing business. So they did. They did away with the catalogs that they had, the real pretty catalogs with all the pictures. They did away with the catalogs, and they did a lot of internet sales, and everything was made to order. No longer did they have inventories of stock to sell. It was you order, we make it, and it'll go out. Okay. Okay, so they also decided to go Fenton International. And they had to go international because they did not have the buying power from customers in the United States. There were over 40,000 independent gift shops in the United States at that time, and Fenton was only being sold in 2,000 of them. So they really figured that they had to go overseas to get a presence in order to stay in business. So that's when Fenton International came out. So yes, out of 40,000 gift shops, 38,000 were not carrying Fenton. QVC tried to retrieve Longaberger, but failed. Yes. And there's a QVC actually finally did put Fenton out of business the last time, but this is Fenton's final breath here. So they went overseas, and there are different things that they did to distinguish their products. They started putting on Fenton USA on all their logos so that you would know that your product was made here in America and it said Fenton USA. And the products that were made internationally, it said Fenton and it had a little globe on it so you could distinguish. And he said, this is Scott Fenton talking. I'd like to tell you about the differences. First, we are not taking our molds overseas to knock off. We do not own a factory in China. So he was saying they were not going to let anyone in China use their molds for knockoffs, which we've been calling them reproductions here. They're actually making knockoffs here in the States now. It's amazing to me how you read about history, and history does come around again. And you want to learn from history. And we are facing this thing right now with Reproductions in the Fenton marketplace. It's not the same, but it's very close. He says, so they never wanted to take their molds overseas. They never wanted to give up their molds because they would be considered knockoffs. And they did not have a factory in China. We are making sure all international glassware is clearly molded with a Fenton global logo. We have also added USA to the molds, and our US made glassware will have that USA on that to differentiate which is made here and which is made overseas. So they wanted to make sure that their product could be distinguishable, and that if you wanted a USA made Fenton product, you would see USA on the label. But still, they were having so many complaints from their customers and the people that had built up huge collections of Fenton glass. They were very concerned about the Fenton International Company at this point. And he said, I've had a few collectors over the past few years, some a little more harsh in the way they ask this question. And the question is, what are you Fentons trying to do to the value of our collections? So the collectors at that time were very concerned that going over to China and going international was going to affect their collections. It definitely would. It says, and this is interesting too. Okay, let's see what Nancy says. How can you tell the difference with Reproductions from more current times? It's the color. It's definitely the color now, because the molds are floating out there. It's just what Scott Fenton did not want to happen. He didn't want the molds out there so people could get a hold of them and produce knockoffs. And this is what's happening, not in China. It's happening right here. Because unfortunately Fenton went under and the molds are floating around everywhere. So anyway, and this is interesting because at the time in 2008, he said the single most important thing we have done to protect the value of your collections is distribution. Even during our growth years, Fenton USA was not distributed as widely as other collectible companies. With all the changes we've made, new Fenton that will be old Fenton soon is even harder to find. Our plan is that demand for Fenton USA will flourish. So what he's saying to collectors at this point, 14 years ago, is we will not flood the market. We're going to make sure that it is harder to find so that there's not the supply there, and it will keep the prices up. And that's what he said. The single most important thing that we've done to ensure your collections don't, degrade in value is distribution. They're not going to over distribute it. We have protected our collections and authenticated them essentially by marking all international Fenton with a different logo. There will be no question as to what is Fenton from Williamstown or abroad. And so I just really find that interesting because, like I said, you learned from history. And his main concern with a, floundering business, it was going under, was I want our customers' collections to keep their value. And I don't want knockoffs being made. And now, 14 years later, it has to be his worst nightmare to have Fenton being produced from these molds that really should have been destroyed in order to keep the true Fenton collectors, to keep their collections, to keep the value going up on them. They really should have been destroyed, but they're all out there now. So it's so difficult to tell what is real and what is a knockoff. Question, is Fenton glass, international glass, available now? You'll find it. You'll find it at auctions. You'll find it all over the place. But it does have the globe on the bottom, so you'll be able to know that it is Fenton International. And it definitely is not the same molds that you're used to seeing. The Fenton International items were a lot more contemporary looking. They, if you didn't see the Fenton globe on the bottom, you might question that it's even Fenton. It was that drastically different looking. Question Andrew has, I saw melt glass hobnail top hat, and when I put a light to it, it had a reddish orange glow in the rim of the hat. Is that Fenton top hat or a knockoff hat? I'd love to see it, Andrew. It may be that it's even older than melt glass. Top hats were made, from the Victorian era even. And we've saw that selling glass from our glass house auctions, that the older glass, some of those colors will glow that you just don't expect it. And without seeing it, I don't know, but I would say that probably isn't Fenton. Why were the molds sold? Because the business went under and all the assets were sold. And, some of them are in the Fenton gift shop. A lot of people bought them at the auction, and they're everywhere. I mean, there's lists of molds on the internet, and you can look that up and you see there are literally hundreds and hundreds of them. I mean, thousands of them, I would say. That's so sad. The molds need to be destroyed. Yes. And when I first got into this, the Fenton world here, I remember people saying that, and this probably was 8 years ago. They were very concerned about keeping the integrity of Fenton. And now it just seems to be the norm out there. I mean, you're seeing it. We're going to try to go over the colors in this program that you need to be aware of and look for, because like I said, some of the knockoffs are really nice. And, but if you're buying Fenton and you really want Fenton, there's no quality out there like Fenton glass. And I'm not talking about Fenton glass, the name. I'm talking about Fenton glass. There's no quality out there of Fenton glass anymore. There's just nothing to compare to it. It was an antique store. Sadly, you didn't take a picture. Oh, I wish we could have seen that. All right. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And I look back at it and I think what they would be thinking now of how things have gone. And it doesn't seem like there's that many people that are concerned about it. But there is a difference. And I wish that we would have somebody that really could teach us about the colors and things, because it's just, there's so much to know. And I can tell you the unicorns have been reproduced, but we know the colors. Fenton has the clear, crisp, bold colors. You can definitely tell the reproduction items because the glass is just not as clear. A lot of the times it's really shiny, and I don't know. To the novice, it's confusing. Diane said, I inherited a lot of Fenton art glass pieces many years ago. I gave so much of it away as gifts to clients and friends. Yes. Yes. Yes, I did that too in the very beginning. I can't believe how much of it I actually sold when I wish I would have kept a few more pieces. Okay. So anyway, that was that from the Fenton Flyer, September and October 2008. Oh, Burmese. Yes. You know what? I have another section in here in Burmese. I don't mean to bore you, but this won't take so long. Yes, Burmese will hold its value because it can't be reproduced. It can't, at least not in today's world. I'm pretty certain of that. So there's also an article in here on Burmese. It says, when did Fenton start making Burmese? Can you fill us in on it? Okay, so this is interesting. It said Burmese glass was originally developed by Frederick Shirley for Mount Washington Glass in 1880, but the formula was lost over the years. Fenton chemist Charlie Goh recreated Burmese in 1969, and the first pieces went on sale in 1970. Rose Burmese contains uranium oxide and gold. The custard-colored glass is heat sensitive, and when reheated, takes on a salmon rose blush color like Vaseline glass. Burmese fluoresces under a black light because of the uranium. When Fenton was required to alter the formula in 1980, many of us wondered if we would ever see our beautiful glass again. The 85th anniversary offerings in 1990 proved Fenton was making gorgeous Burmese. So they apparently had to quit making it in the 80s because of the uranium content, and they compensated for that. So it says blue Burmese was introduced about 1984. It uses cobalt oxide instead of uranium oxide, and lotus mist. Green Burmese was introduced in 2000, which I thought it was way before that. It uses chromium compound instead of the uranium oxide. Blue Burmese and lotus Burmese do not fluoresce. So, so I'm going to show you the difference between blue Burmese. You see daylight coming through the town. Oh, blue Burmese and custard, because I have examples of that. And these are very big pieces, so you'll be able to see it. Oh, maybe you won't be able to see it. So yeah, I got to get back far enough. So this is blue Burmese, and you can see the blue on it. And this one is custard Burmese. I wish I had a lotus one this big, but I don't. But this is the difference in the Burmeses. And you can see how beautiful they are. And Burmese is really sought after. I can tell you that. And it's just so much more difficult to make. So it says, what should one look for when judging the quality of a piece of Burmese? It says, check the evenness of color around the entire piece. And you know what? I have bought pieces that weren't colored properly or, just didn't look right. But it says, check the evenness of color around the entire piece. The rose should go all the way to the edge of the blown piece. This person preferred dark salmon rose color that changes to a clear, creamy yellow. Other people prefer yellow with a hint of rose. Rose Burmese can be found in satin or glossy finishes. So there you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The black light, they will definitely glow. The custard Burmese will. The blue Burmese won't. So anyway, there you go. We still have nobody that wants to come in. It must be just because it's a summer evening and it's so beautiful tonight. So I'll give you one more chance if anybody wants to come in. Remember, you can sell tonight. You can ID. Or if you have a part in piece you would like to share with us, you can do that. They are very pretty. So does anybody have any questions tonight? Would you like to see a piece made by Dave Fetty? I can show you an example of his work if you'd like to see it. I can see a piece of it right now. Hi, Jackie. How are you? If you have a question, ask away. I want to show you this piece. We talked about this last week. We talked about the topaz glass and the cactus pattern. Remember we talked about it last week? Well, here is the milk glass bud vase in cactus. And we found it very interesting last week that the topaz Fenton cactus was replaced by the milk glass. Not replaced so much, but the topaz was not as popular as the milk glass, and they quit producing the topaz in a very short time and kept producing the milk glass because it was a lot more popular. And we talked about that bud vase. This bud vase is actually the last of the cactus in the milk glass. Remember we said it was translucent. And if you look at the milk glass, you'll see it's a little translucent at the end. This, if I remember right, it was in the early 50s that they produced this bud vase, and they changed the formula of the milk glass, and it was experimenting with it. Okay. How do we come in? Here is the link. If you want to come in, you can come in and say hello. If you click the link, I'll see you come in the studio. Or if you want to show us something, if you just want to talk about your collection, whatever. We're usually here for about an hour unless we don't have enough to do. Andrew says, did any other company create Hobnail before Fenton? You know, there are other companies that produce Hobnail. I don't have a piece of it here. If you're looking at a piece, you know, of course, color is a big deal, but also the hobs. The hobs on a Fenton piece are kind of pointy. Okay, so I wish I had one to show you here, but I'm actually in the house here tonight, so I don't have one. But the hobs on a Fenton piece are pointy. Some of the other makers of hobnail, you'll find the hobs are round and very, you can run your hand over them and they're smooth, where Fenton's hobnail has points. I do not know how they make the melt glass, but I know that the melt glass is a very important part of any kind of Fenton. And it's made in the Murano glass. It's made in so many different pieces. It's very difficult to get some of the colors that you're used to seeing in like Vase Marine or any of them without melt glass. They just kind of look naked without it. Yes. Okay, I'll show you that Dave Fetty piece. If I can get it out of here. And this is an example of Dave using melt glass. Oops. I'm going to go way back here so you can see it. So if you look at this vase, you'll see how much melt glass he used in making this. Now, this is made by Dave Fetty, and he is one of the, we've talked about him before. He's like Mr. Fenton. He has been at Fenton his entire career. He's 85 years old and still making glass. And this piece is a beautiful vase that he made, and he called this kind of swirl a king tut. And you can see how beautiful this is. And there is so much use of the melt glass in this, and that's what makes the pattern just pop and stand out. And if you see stuff like this, you know, Dave did a lot of stuff freehand, and you wouldn't think these pieces are Fenton, but they actually are. And here's the bottom. The bottom is actually sanded smooth too. And these are just pieces you have to recognize. And when you see them out in the wild, you want to grab them. A vase like this easily will bring $300 or $350. So, and it seems to be getting higher in value every day. All right. Okay. Anybody else? I was going to show you something else and I forgot. I'll show you one more thing. John was going to show it to you. I'll go get it. So Dave did a lot of pieces like that big vase, but he also does little animals and stuff. And this is the kind of thing that we are going to see him make at Henderson Hall. This happens to be a little penguin, and he does a lot of freehand stuff. And that's what makes his stuff so interesting, and the color. Oh, Jan had a question. I must have missed it. If I missed your question, let me know. And I'm no expert. Somebody may be able to help us. What is the difference in sand carved and cameo carved? I really don't know. Now there's somebody out there that does. So they'll have to help us out. I think cameo is different layers of sand carving. There's a lot of sand carving that is like one-dimensional, and then there's levels of sand carving, which makes it look more 3D. And I think cameo carved is several layers, but somebody let us know. If you know, let us know. Okay. Any more questions about Marietta, or any questions about anything? If I can help you out. You're in, I don't see you. I see you here, but I don't see you in the studio. Here's the link to come in the studio. You want to come in the studio? Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's the difference. And if somebody knows for sure, let me know. But I think just the sand carved is one level, and then cameo is in different levels. I would love to see someone sand carve something. I know it's done with stencils and stuff. And I know it takes a lot of time, and anything that is sand carved has got a lot of value. I'll try to remember to bring some sand carved stuff next week. Is Dave Fetty considered higher quality even though Fenton glass is closed? What makes the difference in the glass? Dave's stuff is a lot of freehand, And his stuff is just valued. And I think it's because of his long career, his commitment to Fenton. And there was just not a lot of it made. And we talked about it before. And that's what Scott was saying, that Scott Fenton was saying in this book. The more supply of something, the less demand for it. And being a Dave Fetty, one person, and limited in what he could produce, created less supply. So that means more demand. And both Dave and Frank Workman, their stuff is highly valued because they were the only ones doing it. All right. Who is in the studio? Is that you, Jackie? When you get your camera set, you can go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Make sure you got your audio on and we'll bring you in. The Corning Museum of Glass is a school for students to learn how to make glass. I know. And I would love to go make glass or go to one of those little seminars. I know they have them here. I think Russell was telling me about one in Kalamazoo. Why is art glass so expensive? Because of the well, I think Dave Fetty's pieces and Frank Workman's pieces are so sought after because they're different. There's really not any two of them that are alike, just because of the nature of the beast. I mean, look at this. You're not going to find two of these that are alike. You just aren't. You're not going to find two penguins that are alike. You just aren't. Of course, this is some of Dave's later work. This is got the Henderson hallmark on it. That when you see the Henderson hallmark on Dave Fetty's work, that means it's done recently after he got COVID. And those are the newer pieces that he's done later in his career. Dave is now 85 and still blowing glass. Okay, who do we have there? Are you ready? Give us a thumbs up when you're ready to come on in the green room. Cash in 45. Are you ready to come on? All right. Hello there. Who do we have here?
It's Diana Cash in a new sub.
Oh, hello there. What do you got to show us?
I didn't want to come on because I don't feel camera ready, but I felt like since no one else was coming on, I was going to go for it. And I'm on my iPad. I don't normally like to do it on my iPad, but it's how it worked out today.
Oh, great.
So I'm hoping to come to the convention in Marietta, Ohio, with my son. And and I'm glad. I'm okay if I need to join the Fenton Art Glass Collectors of America. Yep. That's fine. But anyway, so but I'm wanting to
you
come.
Don't.
I've already been like at Lafayette, and I'm talking to my son, and my son lives with me, and he is 43. Now he has autism, but he's very well behaved, and he's actually the reason I got into collecting art glass. But that's another story. But since
we'd love to hear that sometime.
But
we'd love to hear that story sometime.
You like to talk, so do I. So,
but let me reiterate here about coming to Marietta. If you want to come and you decide to come, let me know.
Yes.
Because the Lafayette, we have 2 floors that we've reserved just for a Rosie group. So if you want to come and reserve it, just let me know or call the hotel and tell them you're from the Rosie group. And
okay. And I got your email, so I'll send more to you later.
Okay. Sounds good.
Nice to meet you.
You too. I'm thrilled.
Okay. So here it is. I had left a comment in the live feed that I had inherited a lot of Fenton art glass when I was very young. I'm 62 now, and that was in my 20s. I didn't really know what it was, and it wasn't my thing. And but I kept it because it was from my family, and it was generations and generations. And it was beautiful. But if I couldn't have it out, I couldn't see the point of having it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it put away. And I'm not a reseller, never have been. So it was so beautiful. I started to give it away to clients. I'm a retired hairstylist of over 35 years.
Oh, how nice.
But you can't tell it right now. But anyway, that's
You
why I'm
look
retired.
fine.
That's great. But there was one thing I didn't get rid of, because this came from my great grandmother.
Oh, my
And
word.
I
that is
kept
beautiful.
this, and it's not in the best of shape.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, that's where you want to know your hand, or a $5
Uh-huh.
or a dollar bill. It's long.
Yes.
And you can see something had gotten on it.
Uh-huh.
Not from me. It was that way when I inherited
Mhm.
it. But I just loved it. I loved the color, the design, and I knew it was really special, and it was one of the few things that I did have. So this is one of the things that did not get given away.
Right.
So
What a
it's
beautiful piece.
carnival,
What color is the base on that? It looks cobalt.
sapphire, cobalt.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? And I really think you made a good
Ooh,
decision on what to keep, because there is so much popularity now in the swung vases. I mean, they just kind of went crazy in the last 6 months on them. It's a beautiful color. And David Brown, which
there's
I'm happy to have him here today,
no,
says you have a Fenton plum panel vase. There you go. So
flung
you
or plume.
plume
Plume.
panel vase, and look at it. Kind of looks like a plume. Looks like a
It's
feathery plume.
beautiful. It does.
It
It looks
is.
like it looks like, I'll tell you what it looks like. Back in the 70s, I used to pick and go and make my own dried flower arrangements.
Uh-huh.
And it reminds me of some of the stuff I used to go out and pick, and I would spray paint it and put it in things. And I thought about putting some in here, but I was so afraid I never did, because I thought, oh no, it'll get knocked over and that'll be it. So
Yes.
this I actually display in a very safe place, but it's displayed, it's not hidden.
Okay, I'm going to ask David
No,
something, since he's in the
okay,
room right now. David, you see there's a couple places on here that show a little wear to the finish. Is there anything
right
that
there.
Diana can do about that? Is there something she can wash that with? It seems to me that there was something you could wash Carnival with that would
Ooh.
help it. Yeah, we'll see if he answers us on that. It's beautiful, Diana.
To me, and I don't know why it looks like that, it almost reminds me of a spot that got splattered on it somehow, and it took the finish off.
Mm-hmm.
So even on camera, you can see them easily.
Yeah. I know you never want to put Carnival glass like in the dishwasher or anything, or use anything too harsh
Never,
on it.
ever.
Yep.
Listen, my family didn't own a dishwasher until I moved out of the house, and this went with me. This wasn't even, my mother didn't have this. Otherwise, I would have known that. And I know my grandmother and my great grandmother, none of them never had dishwashers. And I would never put anything like that. You don't put that in the dishwasher.
Yep.
I knew enough.
Yep.
And I never even put it in hot water, because I was like, hey, remember when we used to break the iced tea pitchers if you didn't put a metal spoon on it? Oh,
right.
Lots of times. And I was like, this is old. The only thing I've ever done is I take just a damp cloth, very lightly damp, and just dust it.
Right.
That's it.
Well,
That's it.
it is beautiful, Diana. I want to thank you for sharing that with us tonight.
Thank you.
Maybe you
Thanks
can
for
come back
having
and
me.
What's that?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having
It
me
was
on.
wonderful to meet you.
You too. I hope to meet you. We're planning on going to the show now that I finally know that it's okay, because I've already been like at the Lafayette and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay. So this is what we decided. It was between this convention and the Hippie Hill Festival, in Nashville, Indiana.
Oh,
So, no, I know. So we discussed it and we thought this might be better
awesome.
because it's a little harder for me to be out in the sun now. And that would be a music festival with a bunch of hippies and stuff running around. And great, it was like Grateful Dead stuff. Celebrating Jerry Garcia.
Yes.
I have a whole collection. That's a whole nother story. But this just seems so wonderful. And I really know that my son would enjoy this. And I just thought it would be great. So thanks for answering that. And I'll be PMing you with all that I need to know. And I guess I'll just wait until I get the itinerary from you about when I book at the Lafayette.
Okay. Sounds
good.
Okay.
But
have a good evening, Diana. Nice meeting you. And maybe we'll see you back on a show another night.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So again, there is my email address if you are interested in coming to Marietta. And thank you, Diana, for coming on tonight and showing us that wonderful piece. So I guess I'm going to call it a night if we don't have anybody else come in or any other questions. Sorry about the reception at the beginning of the program tonight. I don't know what was going on with that, but I went in and out and it came back fine. So it worked its way out. Apparently it's better now. So does anybody else have any questions before we go about Marietta or anything? I'm going to take off if you don't. We've been on for an hour. And I hope you found the show interesting tonight. We'll work on it next week for that. I still don't understand why we had such internet problems in the beginning. It's a mystery to me. All right. Always learn something new. Give a shout out to Linda Fleming. Yes, Linda, tonight she called me. She was going to Pennsylvania where the plane crashed when the Twin Towers were attacked. And the one plane went down in Pennsylvania, and that's where she is today. She was going to visit that site. So she's on a little vacay. You're going to see me Monday for the boutique sale. Well, don't forget tomorrow night, we're doing our first vintage Vixen sale. We'll be on with Jill Coyle, known as Silly Jilly around here. And we have a new gal joining us, Eileen Thomas. She is one of the gals that we met at the Pickens Flea Market in South Carolina last summer. And we're going to be selling vintage kitchen. So we got all kinds of Pyrex and all kinds of cool things for your vintage kitchen. It's going to be interesting. How is Trudy? Trudy is home. She's home. She's still on pain meds, but she told me tonight that she is going to be going off of them on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. She is recovering. She's had 5 surgeries this month. So, man, she's had a rough month and she's 5 surgeries behind her and hopefully she's home now. She was in the hospital 4 weeks and with just a couple days off where she was home and she had to go right back in. So we're glad that she's home and on the mend now. Okay. So thank you for asking about Trudy. I'll tell her that everybody asked about her today. She is, we still talked about today. She is going to still be at Marietta and she will be our first show. And that is going to be Sunday night. So when we arrive in Marietta, our first show will be with Trudy. So also, and I said this before, if you're coming to Marietta, bring some stuff to sell. It'll offset your costs in the room. And we would love to sell your items for you. And we do that because we love our Rosie family members. So keep that in mind. And keep also in mind the fact that if you have something you want George to appraise, we've never had an appraisal fair here. So bring something for him to look at so that we can keep him busy. I'll be keeping him busy. We'll be keeping him busy. We got a lot to do. Okay.
Can I show a piece?
Oh, John wants to show a piece. What the heck? I'll let him show a piece.
Oh, there you go.
What?
What is that?
What is it?
That's a piece I bought my mom.
Oh, well, come tell everybody.
Oh,
John's got a story. He's going to tell you guys. Go ahead. Sit down. You're going to have to hold it back far.
can't. Oh my gosh, I don't know how you see. Wow.
Oh,
So I'm Heidi's wife. Heidi's husband. So I was listening to the story that the gal was telling before that, of what she got, and this was years ago. I was like 8 years old, and I wanted to get, and I think some of you guys have probably heard this story before. I wanted to get something for my mom for her birthday, and I went down to our little it was like a Gamble's. So it was just an old 5 and dime store, and they had some Fenton in it. At the time, I had no idea that it was Fenton, and I just thought it was pretty. And they had like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 pieces up in the air away from kids, so they couldn't get a hold of it. And I asked the guy how much it was, and it was $4 and some change. And that's exactly what I think he even probably put in a nickel or a quarter or something for me. But that's what I got from my mom, and she treasured it. She kept it in her cabinet, her whole, for what, 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kept it, and I still think the simplicity of that piece is just beautiful, the way it's done. Out of all the other stuff in there, I thought she would enjoy that.
So what do you have here?
Those were, I can't remember. We got those from somebody. I can't remember where they made them at Fenton's. I don't even remember what they called them now.
I can't either.
It was from, what's his name? James.
So does anybody know what these are?
I think they're for crushing up. You use them like if you're doing different kinds, I forget what they call it, but you use them for crushing plants, for spices. I think that's what it's for.
I thought it was for crushing up stuff you put in a drink.
Well, that could be too. I don't,
Does anybody know what those are? They're stamped Fenton.
I just put them in here.
I used to know. It is. It's a muddler.
A muddler?
It's a muddler. That's what it is.
Yep.
Well, thanks for sharing that story.
Yep. Did you ask anybody if they had a top for that?
They can't see it because it's green.
Well,
This is the item he's looking for a top for.
it's a small, it's black, and it's got like a little handle on the top.
It's a little ginger jar, and it's the small one. He's looking for that. And then I'm looking for a top on this fairy lamp, which is Lily of the Valley in topaz. Or if you have the top and you want the bottom, I got it. Like the song, I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I think that we could get together and bum, 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 whatever it is. That's the situation with that fairy light. If you have the top, I might be able to give you the bottom. Or vice versa, we could come with something. Now, somebody was talking about melt glass and how important melt glass is.
Ask them if they know why that's a special piece.
Okay, so this is a Vase piece, and look at how pretty. Well, this is green, John. They're not going to see it. How pretty the melt glass is, but there is something special about this Vase basket. Do you have any idea? It's got green in it, so you're not going to see it up close.
There, put this behind it, I think. If you put this behind it.
He's going to put black behind it and see. No, you're not going to see the green in it because I have a green backboard behind me. But do you see anything different about this Vase basket that makes it special? Do you see anything about it? I'll give you just the multicolored handle. The handle has no melt glass in it. It's a one of a kind, and the handle has no melt glass in it. Very, very valued. And this is from John's collection. It's that's why it looks so different, and that's how important melt glass is in the color of pieces. So this one was kind of a whimsy or a one of a kind, and it's beautiful. Okay, we've gone over our hour. So there you go. Thanks for making it interesting tonight, John. No, it's the green screen. We can't show anything green. How pretty. Yes. Well, thank you, everybody. I guess I'm going to take off now. Thanks for coming in tonight. Keep in mind that we'll be on again next week on Saturday. So if you want to join us, just think about it a little bit ahead of time so that you can come in and visit. We want to make a go of this program, and this is your show. So if we're going to make a go on it, we have to have guests and we have to have questions. And I'd like to do it because it's a lot of fun for me. I love to. Fenton make end of day glass. I would say that Vase is about as close to end of day glass. And if you weren't a Fenton collector, you might even call Vase end of day glass because it looks like splatterware, doesn't it? It most certainly does. Okay, everybody, I will see you on the community boards next Saturday night, and I will see you tomorrow on Vintage Vixens. We will be on tomorrow at 8 o'clock right here on this same channel. Monday morning will be our first early bird 10 at 10 boutique sale. So we'll see you then. We got a lot to do the next few days. Have a great night. It was nice to see you, Andrew, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.